for millions of people around the world, foreign aid is not an abstract political debate. It is a meal for a hungry child, a life-saving vaccine, a school that stays open, a clinic that still has medicine on its shelves. Now those lifelines are disappearing. The United Kingdom's decision to slash its overseas aid budget is expected to reduce direct support to some African countries by as much as 90%. For governments already struggling with conflict, climate disasters, poverty and disease, the cuts could not come at a more difficult time. Aid organisations warn that the consequences will not simply be measured in spreadsheets or government budgets. They will be measured in lives. Across Africa, British aid has helped fund healthcare, education, food security, clean water, maternal care and humanitarian relief for decades. While other international donors also contribute, the United Kingdom has long been one of the world's most influential development partners. That relationship is now changing dramatically. The British government says the cuts are necessary as it shifts spending priorities towards defence and national security, arguing that the growing global instability requires greater investment in protecting Britain at home. Critics say the decision comes at the expense of the world's poorest people. They argue reducing aid during a period of record humanitarian need risks reversing years of progress in tackling poverty, improving education, reducing preventable disease. For ordinary families across Africa, the impact could be immediate. Health clinics may receive less funding. Children may lose access to education programs. Farmers facing drought may receive less support. Women and girls see fewer maternal health services. Communities already living on the edge may be pushed even closer to crisis. Aid workers warn that when funding disappears, it is often the most vulnerable who suffer first. Children miss vaccinations. Food assistance is reduced. Projects designed to provide clean drinking water are delayed or cancelled. In some places, humanitarian organisations may simply be forced to leave. Supporters of the government's decision argue that every country must make difficult choices, particularly during periods of economic pressure and growing security threats. They say Britain cannot solve every global crisis while facing financial challenges of its own. But critics counter that aid is not simply charity. It is an investment in global stability. Helping countries build stronger health systems, create jobs, and respond to crises can reduce conflict, limit forced migration, and improve international security overall. The debate is no longer about how much Britain spends, it's about what kind of role Britain wants to play in the world. For many communities across Africa, however, the political arguments matter far less than the practical reality. Will the clinic remain open? Will children receive food? Will medicines still arrive? Because behind every percentage cut announced in Parliament are families wondering how they will survive tomorrow.
We also want to set the tone at
the timing of the cuts has raised particular concern among humanitarian organisations. Many African countries are already facing multiple crises at once. Climate change is bringing more frequent droughts and floods. Conflict continues to displace millions of people. Food prices remain high in many regions. Public health systems are still recovering from the lasting effects of recent global emergencies. Aid agencies warn that reducing support during such a difficult period risks creating deeper and more expensive problems in the future. Preventing famine is often cheaper than responding to one. Funding vaccination programs costs far less than managing disease outbreaks. Supporting education today can help reduce poverty for generations to come. There are also geopolitical consequences. As Britain reduces its development footprint, other global powers may expand their influence through investment, infrastructure, and financial support. Some analysts believe the cuts could weaken Britain's diplomatic relationships across Africa at a time when competition for influence on the continent is growing. For ordinary people, however, these strategic debates are distant. Their concerns are much simpler. Will there still be medicine? Will there still be teachers? Will there still be food when the next drought arrives? Those are the questions many families now face.
The full impact of Britain's aid cuts may not become clear for months or even years, but for many communities, the effect could begin much sooner. Projects may close, health services may shrink, humanitarian organisations may be forced to scale back their work. The British government insists difficult financial decisions are unavoidable. Critics argue that long-term human costs will far outweigh any short-term savings. In the end, this debate is about far more than government spending. It is about whether some of the world's most vulnerable people are left to face growing crises with fewer helping hands than ever before.